Oh yeah, we're live on the BBR Productions channel for another lesson. How to be successful in your industry, specifically the entertainment industry. Look, we all run into walls. We all believe we have the solutions in us, but things just don't seem to be adding up. We do A, B, and C, and we're not getting the results we wish we could. And yet we continue to do A, B, and C for weeks, months, even years, and find ourselves in the same exact spot. So, how do we fix that? By using the entrepreneurial brain to find solutions by thinking outside the box in a proactive effort. And that's what we're going to go over today in this lesson. So as always, I'm Thomas J. Beleza. Please like, comment, and share this video along with subscribing for future content on how to be successful in your career, specifically the entertainment industry. Let's get right into it. Okay. And more importantly than anything, these are just 6 helpful tips or quick tips on how to solve a problem. But they aren't the only tips out there, and they aren't the only skills nor tools. But these are some helpful ones that'll really get your brain, hopefully, thinking. All right. Number 1, we always have to identify the problem. Is there a problem? The way you have to approach this one is, you may think there is no problem, but it's good to quantify your life and really evaluate it, analyze what's going on, and say to yourself, let me look at my business plan or my goals or my accomplishments or my achievements and see where I'm at. If you are nowhere near where you had projected you would like to be, there has to be a problem. Because if what you are doing is not garnering the results that your plan has been laid out to achieve, there has to be a problem. Now, some of the problem could just be that maybe unrealistically you wanted to succeed to a certain standard in a time frame that wasn't necessarily comparable to your skill set. That can happen, but that is a problem. We have discovered a problem, right? So it's important to really take yourself seriously and your business seriously. And what I like to do is every 3 months or so, I like to reevaluate where I am and what I'm doing and where my assets of return, my ROIs are, as far as what I am working on, what time I am putting towards stuff, and financially, am I spending my money properly? Am I under budget or over budget? You got to look at these things, and that's how we identify a problem. We may not at all acknowledge there is a problem. How can there be a problem? There's no, I chose to do this. I know that this is the way to succeed. If I do A, B, and C, I'm going to make it. But the thing is, to be a successful entrepreneur in entertainment or any field of interest, you have to take ego out of it. You don't have to be perfect, but you do need to acknowledge that there may be a problem. Is there a problem? I don't know. So let's identify if there is a problem and look at ourselves. We have to go in without the bias intellect that well, I am choosing to do it, so therefore there's nothing wrong with what I am doing, right? So identify a problem, see if there even is a problem, and you go, hey, you know what? I'm looking at my plan. I'm actually on route to that, so I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing. But sometimes you might not be hitting your goals. And there are different goals for an artist brain versus, say, an entrepreneurial brain. For example, if your artist brain goals are, I would like to record an album, or I would like to write a book by, or I would like to do 10 shows, stand-up shows this month, or I would like to clean up a 5-minute. Those are creative goals that you should have, but they have nothing to do with your business. Remember, the business of entertainment is not reliant on your craft. The craft allows you the reward. So if you're building and cultivating relationships, if you're developing a brand that allows people to connect to emotionally and see your value sets beyond your craft, and you are understanding and learning of the industry by practicing what's going on and learning how to create value sets, That gets you within the industry. And then people want to work with friends. They want to work with people that they find value in with your brand, and they want to work with people that see them and give good relationship. They cultivate good relationships, but they also want somebody that comes in and is capable of problem solving. But more importantly, are you able to lead, follow, and or advise when needed? And that's why it's network market practice, okay, to become successful. There is longevity, which is management of time, money, and people, entrepreneurial brain, and of course, your talent. You do need to be talented, but if you focus on talent, you will not find success. You'll just be the person that, like, look at me, I do these things, please. And the other thing is, if you only are your music or your comedy or your writing, that is your value set. All right, well, let's get so and so involved because we need music, right? But do they know you? Do they like you? Do you give them your time? Do they see you in action working with other people? Or are you just the person that's really good at playing an instrument? Or are you the person who's really good at telling a joke? That's the issue with craft. This craft is not proof of concept, meaning if I'm going to work with you, you're coming in to work with a group just because you're awesome, amazing, unique, because you know how to do something like play guitar, write, or tell a joke, or even act, doesn't mean the world revolves around you. Because remember, your success has nothing to do with you. It has to do with the people you surround yourself with. So when you work with others, it's not, other people are not there to make you successful. You're there to add value to that, whatever it is, the mission or the agenda or the that's one of the issues about problem solving, is we have to take our ego out of the equation and realize, oh, we're not here to be elevated. We're not here, hey, look at me, we're here to add value to situations. And if everybody's adding value, everybody grows. That's why it's work, grow, rise, and go. Okay. So identify a problem. Just focus on saying to yourself, hey, let me look at my plan. And you want your plan not to be focused on, hey, let me get a song done or let me do 5 minutes of material. Your plans need to be a little bit more powerful than that. So we've talked about this in other videos and other lessons, but ultimately an accomplishment, right, might be something grand. Like you want to develop a strong team, and these are the team members you want. So then you have your achievements and your goals, which is, I need to build my team, so I need to network more. So how do I get involved? And then your goals are like, I'm getting involved. And then you look at your goals, you're like, how many things have I gotten involved in? Let me look at my circle of influence. Has that grown? Have I put enough time to cultivate that relationship? Are people reaching out to me yet, or am I still reaching out to people? And those are like goals you should be looking at. Now, if you notice, none of that has to do with craft. However, you may end up using your craft in a lot of those situations, especially when you get involved. You might get involved to help somebody and be a PA on set. And then the next thing you know, they're like, hey, working on another project. Do you act? And you're like, oh my God, I do act. And they're like, great, I like you. Act in my project. Okay. Quick tips on how to solve a problem. 2, acceptance. It's okay to change things up. This is the other thing. This is all about changing the brain. We got to get the ego out of there. Acceptance is saying, all right, I have been doing the same thing over and over again. I need to look at what I have been doing. If this is not working, it's okay to change things up. It's okay that your strategy didn't work. It's okay to reevaluate what you're doing and just change up the process, because you might not know everything. So you have to accept that. You have to accept that what you are doing is not working. I promise you, it's okay to find acceptance in yourself. So you have to identify the problem, and trust me, you have to accept that there may be a problem, even if you don't think there is. That's why you have to evaluate your plans, look back at yourself every 3 months or so and say, am I where I want to be? Is what I am doing that? And then accept that whatever the results are is like, all right, it's time to change things up. Okay. The third thing is help. Your value is not based on you solving problems. That's extremely important for problem solving. All right. A lot of times we get this feeling, like artist brain gets this feeling where, oh, I have to be the one, like my method, my ability, my skill, I need to be the one that achieves this. I need to be the one that finishes it. I'm the one who has to find solve the problem. But again, acceptance, number two, all right, is to get help. It's all right to ask for help. In fact, it's all right that somebody knows more than you. It's actually a value set to accept that you don't know more than other people and ask for people to help you. It's also a value set to accept that you might not have the skill set to accomplish things and you need people's help. Okay. And that it's also very important to help others, by the way. Okay. The fourth thing is just brainstorm, solution finding. Brainstorming is literally all it is. It's like, let's just find a solution. So if let's say you're trying to get a crew member, you're trying to get a director of photography, right, or a cinematographer, right, and you keep saying, oh man, I can't find anyone, I don't know anybody, this is difficult, right? The idea is to brainstorm. Well, how do we find people? Well, there's many ways. We can look at our inner circle. Who do we know within our inner circle who may know somebody? We could look online. We could look at sites that have listings of people, right? And then you say, well, I don't have the budget. Well, we're not on budget yet. We're just on trying to find people, because sometimes the budget can be negotiated. Sometimes people, if they like you enough, they can work within your budget to help you get your thing going because they want to work with you. So brainstorming is literally just about writing down every idea you can think of to find an alternative route to your plan A that may not be working. But your plan B and plan C and plan D all should be alternate routes to plan A. The only thing is, like, if you're going, oh, I need to find a director of photography, and your plan A is to just reach out to the 4 people you know, and you're like, oh, they don't know anything. I guess I can't find a photographer. I can't find a director of photography. And you got to say to yourself, no, wait, what are other things I could do? Well, I could expand my circle. I could look at people that I actually know that aren't directors of photography, but might know directors of photography because they're in that field. I could get more involved in the community. I can try to assist and help people that are actually working on projects, or I could reach out to people that have filmed projects. And this is all. It doesn't mean we have to do any of these things. It just means we're allowing our brain to think and we're finding solutions. Because the quick tips to how to find a solution or solve a problem is about just acknowledging and accepting that there is a problem, and then just finding different things, just letting it out. And that's okay if you might even come up with 10 things. You might even come up with 3 things and then go, wait, let me take one of these things and let me brainstorm and expand on that. It's okay to not have, again, the help, right? It's okay not to be able to solve the problem right away. Your way doesn't have to, because we got to take the ego out, right? We got to accept ourselves. We got to identify the problem. We do not have to say, well, this is the idea I came up with, so this is the idea I have to go with. Like, that ego destroys you, right? And that's why you have to solve a problem. Entrepreneurial brain is a strong function, a strong tool in your arsenal to help create longevity in your career. Okay. Number 5, smaller pieces. Break down the problem. Okay. Again, let's go back to finding a director of photography. Okay. Maybe I say to myself, oh, it's just reaching out to people, getting involved. There's just a lot going on. It could be overwhelming, but you could break down that process. You go, wait a minute. Why don't I start like this? On Monday, I'll take 30 minutes of my day and I will research people that I know and their projects. The next day, I'll research, I'll look through my phone for 30 minutes. You don't have to look through your whole phone. Just got to look through your phone for 30 minutes in alphabetical order, and you write down everybody that's in your field of interest. Okay, and write down a quick note who they are. Like, what do they do? Are they right as an actor, writer, director? And then the next day you go, all right, let me do some research on. Okay, and then the fourth day is like, let me just text them, let me call them, let me email them. What you're doing is you're breaking down a bigger process into small pieces that are digestible, and now you're solving a problem. Because what seemed like I have to get a director of photography turned into, wait a minute, not only am I expanding my potential circle of influence, but I'm learning more about the people that I am involved in. I did not know that A, B, and C, and D, and E, and F, all these people knew these people. And because I put some time and research into it, I'm seeing the connections. And I have a good relationship with this person. Why don't I know that stuff? Maybe I didn't put enough time into developing that relationship properly. I didn't give them my time to learn who they are. I was just letting them learn who I am, right? Because networking is about other people, not you. Marketing is about you, people remembering you, right? So in that situation, you start learning and you start connecting the dots and you realize your circle of influence is pretty powerful. Okay. Before we get to number 6, I got to hydrate. Okay. How are we doing with time? She's doing really good. It's only 16 minutes in. Wow, I flew through this lesson today. I feel pretty excited about myself. All right. Let's do this. All right. So we're going to talk about number 6. Number 6 is just a quick tip on how to solve a problem. It isn't the only 6 things you could do. Like I said in the beginning of the video, these are just things that get your brain thinking. Before we get into the 6th one, I would like you to remember to like, comment, and share this video along with subscribing for future content on how to be successful within the field of interest, specifically the entertainment industry. More importantly, if you are watching this on Twitch or Facebook group, remember that we have a BBR Productions YouTube channel, and we're growing that channel. We're doing very well with that, and we're just trying to get the whole thing going. So please go over there, subscribe to that channel. If you like the content, if you like what we're talking about, if you like the lessons on how to network better within your field of interest, market yourself better and create a brand, how to learn your strengths and weaknesses, develop yourself and create value sets to bring something to the table, how to manage your time, money, and the people around you, and just all together learn how to turn yourself into a business and be rewarded to do what it is you love to do passionately. Because what you do is not your job rewards you financially to do the thing you do passionately. And so please celebrate and elevate the channel, because it gives us enough strength and power to continue to do these free lessons, because it's important that people are just given knowledge, because what's our job here is to educate and elevate, to eradicate misconceptions of the industry. All right. With that said, number 6, learn. What? Learn. What have you learned? There's 2 things for this. Learning is you should be putting at least 30 minutes a day into like reading books, or 30 minutes into the day. Any like just learning, doing research on on the internet, Google, whatever, or Bing, whatever you want. But learning the industry, just learning how certain things work. You don't have to become a master of things, but it's good to have a generalization of what goes on. And if the only knowledge you have is what you believe to be true, and what people that are literally doing the same thing you are doing but not elevating their career have told you, you should be learning by taking what they have said and researched it. Allow that to learn, because learning gives you a chance to discover information that may be different than what you perceive to be right and what others have told you is right, yet they are doing the same thing. So it's always important to take knowledge that you have obtained and do research on it to explore it and just kind of familiarize yourself with it. Because there's a difference between knowing something and understanding something. Remember, knowing something is not the truth. Understanding it develops a truth. If I tell you, hey, by the way, if you have headshots, you will get cast. That is not a truth. That's just something now you know. So then you do your research and you learn, oh, wait a minute, headshots are not what gets me cast. And then you break it down into the process and you learn ultimately that it's about relationships, and that casting directors don't even cast you. Literally the producer, the writer, or the director. And it's like, all right, well, what does a casting director do? I always thought a casting director cast. And you do some research. You meet casting directors. You become friends with casting directors. They tell you, like they've told me, our job is just to organize roles into digestible amounts to focus it onto the director, writer, or producer, where they make the final choice. However, most casting directors do not cast the main roles. The director or producer already thinks, hey, Leonardo DiCaprio will be great in Wolf of Wall Street. No one cast him other than Martin Scorsese. So if Martin Scorsese says, hey, I'm doing Wolf of Wall Street, and every actor's like, I need to get in touch with the casting director that's working on Wolf of Wall Street, and they think they're going to get a Leonardo role or a Jonah Hill role or you know what I'm saying? Like casting directors really focus on the secondary roles, okay? Traditionally. All right. So learn, what have you learned? The other aspect of learn is when we look into a problem and we say to ourselves, hey, I've been doing the same thing. I looked at my game plan and I'm not where I want to be. So what I am doing is clearly not working. What have I learned? I learned that this does not work. So I have to research why I thought this worked or could work, or maybe I am not doing it correctly and I have to just understand it more. The other learn is learn to accept. When you identify that there is a problem by taking the ego out and being willing to have a non-biased analyzation of yourself and your process and your plan, you will find that you will learn something deeper, that it's okay to change things up. And when you say, if this is not working and I'm accepting that, now you can move on to the next step, which is maybe you ask for help. What did you learn when you realized, oh, I may not know everything? You learned something about yourself, but you also learned that there are other people capable of doing great things, because your value is not based on you solving problems. You don't have to be the one that solves the problem. That's the I have to win mentality. I have to be right mentality. Even if it's not a conscious thought, it's a subconscious behavior that was trained. And that's usually the artist brain is trained to believe I have to be right. You might not have to think it. You'll be like, I have to always be right. You're not thinking that. But your behavior is saying, I don't need help. I will figure this out on my own. But that's not problem solving. That's not entrepreneurial brain. Entrepreneurial brain finds solutions however they can, and they realize they may not always be the solution. We learn that brainstorming develops alternate routes. We learn that by brainstorming, we get our brain thinking. We learn that where we say I can't should be a discovery of how I can. I can't shut your brain off. So whenever you say I can't or there's no way or impossible, they're called no statements or negative statements. You say, wait, how can I? How can I? And you learn it's about positive reinforcement. Okay, not ego reinforcement, not, well, of course I came up with this, so it's completely possible. No, positive thought is being positive about knowing that you may not know everything and it's okay to research. And of course, you learn the smaller pieces. Learning how, if you set an accomplishment, okay, or an achievement up, and you could break down the levels to that, you have just learned what the process is by breaking it down into smaller pieces, what gives you more power. Because now to solve a problem, maybe you don't have to solve the whole thing. Because remember earlier, I was saying, well, maybe something you were doing that you believed isn't working because maybe there's another aspect within that process that you are not doing correctly. Right? So when I work with clients, sometimes I go, you got to do A, B, C, D, and E. And they go, great. And then a month later, they go, hey, it's not working. And I go, are you doing A, B, C, D, E, and E? And they go, well, I'm doing A, I'm doing C, and I like E. And well, you got to do B and D. Yeah, I don't really like doing those things, though. Well, now we know why the thing you're doing is not working, because we got to break down. Which means you just have to figure out how's another way we can do B and D that would make you comfortable, or you feel that you have a strength you could do. Because that's another thing with problem solving. Just because I say do A, B, C, D, and E doesn't mean you have to do it my way with my variables, right? Because tools and skills have to be done, but the way you do it is your variable, right? You find out what your strengths and weaknesses are so you can implement them into the necessary responsibility. So for example, you have to, without a doubt, network. But how you network is up to you. What is networking? Building and cultivating relationships. So now we know we have to build relationships and we have to cultivate relationships. But what are you comfortable doing? If you're agoraphobic or an antisocial, right? What's a way you can find a strength to start building relationships with people? Because you know you have to build relationships and you know you have to cultivate those relationships. The other thing is, People need to know who you are and connect to you, which is marketing. So you have to market, you have to develop a brand, but how you do that and how you represent your brand is up to you. That's the variable. But you have to market. You also have to develop your strengths and weaknesses, because your value sets and what you're capable of doing gives you the ability to lead, follow, and or advise when possible. So if you can learn the process, you can develop an understanding of what you are strong at and what you are weak at. And maybe you don't like, let's say, like building relationships. Maybe you don't like sitting there and writing out your circle of influence. All right, that's fine. So what about anyone you contact? Put a reminder in your phone or your calendar on your phone where it beeps every 3 days, and then you look at it, and on that beep, that notification on the calendar, it's the 3 names that you have to, I got to contact these people today. Now you don't have to go to your circle of influence and look at it. And you don't have to keep filling out. All you have to do is every time you meet somebody, just add them to the bi-weekly or monthly reminder, and you just add them in. And you know what? On a Monday, you might end up having 5 people on that list. And then as you grow, Tuesday I'll have 3, and then Friday I'll have 2. Whenever you meet them, and you just make sure it beeps every 4 weeks or every 3 weeks or every 2 weeks. No, you don't have to do less than 2 weeks. 2, 3, 4. And now you're creating a solution. You're solving a problem. The problem is you're not comfortable sitting in front of your computer going, I know this person, this person, this person. All right. You don't have to do that now. All you have to do is just keep up with them. And eventually, you'll keep up with them so much that they become a habit of contact or a habit of communication, meaning that you're just naturally talking to them. You just naturally want to share life with them. You just naturally are in their circle of influence. And now you don't have to worry about the notification, and you could take them off of that notification because you maybe be talking to them every day. Maybe you're officially working with them all the time, and now you don't really have to put them in, and you take them out and you move new people in that you want to continue to build and cultivate relationships. All right. Ooh, 30 minutes, not bad. There you go. 6 lovely quick tips to help you find solutions by using your entrepreneurial brain. As always, I really hope this helped. And the reason we like to do these videos is to elevate others. And I love to elevate people who watch. And the reason is because we should be elevating one another. And the reason is because one day we want to work, grow, and rise together. That's how we find success in life, add value to one another. Remember, peace and harmony. And as always, do right by one another. Talk to you later.